In my last video I made about EA, I mentioned very briefly the hiring of the new CEO for Xbox, Asha Sharma. And to be entirely honest, I was pretty skeptical on my take on her. It was definitely to do with her background before being appointed as the CEO, which was an AI background. And we all know that every single industry down to your local community center is trying to force AI into literally everything. I assumed Xbox was a dying ship, but I think I'm wrong, somewhat. And I want to explain why it's only somewhat. I still think that Asha Sharma, with her background of AI, was handpicked for that reason. And I'm sure we're going to see that implemented soon. But at the same time, all the decisions that she's made has been nothing short of good for the Xbox community and their consumers. She definitely understood going into the role that all eyes were going to be on her and that she was taking over a dumpster fire that has not done anything good in the last 3 to 5 years, probably longer, and knew that she had to hit on the ground running. So, since February 20th, 2026, here's a list of things that she has done, not in order, but we have canceling AI Copilot, reducing Game Pass prices, reshaping Xbox Game Pass, and going back to being Xbox and not Microsoft Gaming. So, what does that even mean? Well, to break it down, Copilot was genuinely useless. It was taking up space, it wasn't providing anything good, and clearly not what any consumer wanted. She has stopped throwing resources on it and has pretty much canceled it outright. She was reducing the ridiculously high game passes prices from $29.99 to $22.99. And depending on how they reshape the Game Pass shop in the future, I'm still reserving judgment on that. For PC, it went from $16.49 to $13.99. Not a huge difference, probably could have been more, but we can still appreciate a price reduction when we get it. Now, by reshaping Xbox Game Pass, they're going to start by making it so that Call of Duty is no longer available on release, but up to 1 year later with other games looking to follow the same pattern. Basically, from what I can take from the situation, they don't want another hi fi rush situation, which once again, I'm holding my judgment on until I actually see it happen or not, and then I'll have a solid opinion. Now, lastly, the last statement about Xbox being Xbox and not Microsoft Gaming. Asha states that it will be built to be affordable, personal, and open, as well as fortifying Game Pass, stabilizing Gen 9, having a healthy and high quality base within a 5 year slate. Wow, a 5 year plan. Where have I heard that before? But jokes aside, so far everything is looking fairly promising. A lot of optimistic people and diehard fans are truly taking all the good news as just good news. Neutrals are simply watching and waiting for something to happen. And a lot of other consumers are genuinely doubting Xbox to this day, which makes sense considering their history. So, why is this happening all so suddenly? Why did Xbox just flip a switch and said, okay, we actually got to turn things around? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One, they're pissing money in places they shouldn't be. Point where the console is so unwanted by consumers, places like Costco won't carry them anymore as they're just not profitable. Their second project, being a computer gaming streaming service with Xbox Game Pass on PC, is just not working as intended, as they're competing against big hitters in the industry like Steam, and I do hate to say this, but companies like Epic Games as well. You also have a lot of piracy on Steam, and it's easier with people with PCs tend to be loyal to their video game shopping platform of choice, like Steam. Lastly, and this is mentioning their competition, they were unable to break into the handheld market with the handheld they released, with Nintendo completely owning that market, and their second biggest competitor, Steam, the same one they're going against on with the PC market, is doing quite well there as well. And while expanding so much into different markets, they've completely neglected their own stabilized market of consumers, the console consumers, which many of them have left. So Asha probably saw this happening and decided to try putting out fires before trying to expand the bridge, especially when that bridge is made out of wood. So not only with the PS6 being rumored, the Steam machine coming out, Nintendo's probably cooking up something as well. It makes sense the approach that she is taking. Now, we have to understand the why, but we also need to understand then what's happening next. And with Asha, she did mention a 5 year plan. And to answer that, I don't know. I can't tell you what happens next. A lot of people can't. That's going to be up to Asha, Microsoft, and the rest of the Xbox board. The only thing I can say is I was initially wrong. And to that, I apologize. I was very, very wrong about Asha. I thought that just considering how tone deaf Microsoft was and Xbox was being recently, and considering that she was coming from an AI background, which she was handpicked from, they were going to jump into that pool immediately. But instead, she's done the opposite and cut funding for an AI project of Copilot. But I still think it's a matter of time until it's implemented in a different name, in a different way. But I still think that she was handpicked for a reason. I think slowly, I think that more will come in the future. But initially, I think it's going to be mostly good changes. Xbox has done a lot of damage, especially to its loyal fan base, to the point where super fans have just jumped ship and they understand that they're walking a tightrope. So we'll have to watch, wait, and see what happens. But I think for at least the next year or two, it should mostly be all good changes. They're going to want to see profits go up. They're also going to want to see their consumers being happy. And this is the easiest way to do both by getting old consumers to come back who've already been well established within Xbox to continue spending money on Xbox at reduced prices, such as the Game Pass change and so forth. Anyways, I just wanted to make this vid pretty quickly. I wasn't planning on making it. I wasn't planning on putting too much effort into it. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. And I was planning on doing it not now, but probably a couple of days ago. But I decided I want to just finish researching everything, give you proper information instead of just spouting out nonsense before I actually gave you my opinion. Anyways, if you enjoyed this quick little video, please feel free to check out my other stuff, including the last video I actually did put effort into, my EA video. Normally, I post longer video essay styles like that, which I am currently working on something on the side, but I wanted to shoot this out very quickly into the YouTube void and throw my 2 cents onto there. Anyways, once again, thank you very much for sharing your time with me. Stay safe, stay happy, and have a great rest of your day.